If you wanna be solicitors, why don't you come and visit us at SQETV?
This is SQETV, the YouTube channel for wannabe solicitors. This episode is for non-law graduates and career changers. It's SQE and law conversion.
SQETV.
So in this video, we're going to be looking at whether it matters what type of undergraduate degree you have. Secondly, what if you've got some law as part of your undergraduate degree? Does that give you any benefits in your law conversion journey? Thirdly, we're going to have a look at the types of courses that are available for those who are looking to convert to law. And finally, the timing. When do you do your course as part of the whole of your SQE journey? So let's have a look at each of these one by one.
SQETV.
I often get asked by candidates who are considering converting to the law, well, does it really matter what my choice of undergraduate degree was? Well, the good news is it doesn't. Now, of course, we all associate candidates with an arts background as being suitable to the law, and for very good reason. Those with an arts degree, like in English or in history, those who do philosophy, politics, that sort of thing, have a huge amount of reading and a huge amount of writing to do, very often essays, and that really lends itself well to the skill of being a practicing solicitor, but not exclusively so. Those students with a STEM background in science, technology, engineering or maths, you're all wired differently in terms of the way you think, the way you approach problems, and can add a huge amount of value, particularly where you're dealing with complex matters that involve the scientific world, like in intellectual property and patents, that sort of thing. In IT, people from a STEM background have a huge amount of added value compared to those with an arts or a pure law background. So there's room for you as well, as indeed there is for people with a very practical degree. So don't rule yourself out if you've done a very essay type degree, like one that might be more performance based in music or in drama. Everyone has something to offer. Tends to be those who are good on performance in terms of music and drama, are very good on their feet, articulating ideas in meetings, are very good perhaps as being advocates in court because they're confident, they're good socially, good for business development in law firms. So everyone has something to offer.
SQETV.
Now, a question I'm often asked by undergraduate students from a non-law background is, can the little bit of law I've studied as part of my degree actually give me any exemptions when it comes to the law conversion course that I'm going to go on to? And it's something to discuss with that particular institution, but generally speaking, I'd caution you against even seeking the exemptions, even if you might be entitled to them. So the sort of students we're talking about could be somebody who's done a criminology degree. You've probably done the whole of the criminal law module that the LLB students have done at your university. That's great. You could be economics students who's done some business law or commercial law. You could be somebody who's done no law as part of your undergraduate degree, but then went on to do a law masters, like a masters in human rights law or masters in commercial law, having done a non-law undergraduate degree. Now, what all of those candidates have in common is that you have not studied all of the core foundations of law that you can see coming up on the screen now, like tort and contract, land law and criminal law and so on. If you haven't got that solid background, you're going to need to do a law conversion course. And even if you've got a little bit in one of the areas, or maybe you've studied the whole of a module before, I would recommend you probably repeating that module. You're going to sail through it, but actually it'll get you up to speed for your SQE assessments, which you're going to have to do at some stage. So you might as well do it now as part of your law conversion course. And the same bit of advice would apply, I would say, to somebody who has a law degree from an overseas jurisdiction. You'll have very few of those English foundation subjects, if any at all, and recommend that you do the whole of a law foundation course. So the advice is, yes, you can ask about exemptions if you really want to, but think twice maybe before taking them, because at some stage you're going to have to anyway get up to speed with any modules you studied before when it comes to the SQE.
SQETV.
I sometimes get asked, do I need to do a law conversion course at all? Well, I would say yes, absolutely, 100%. Not just a conversion course, you need to do a full comprehensive course. It will set you up not just to pass the SQE, but it'll also set you up for your career. And if you compromise on that, you'll be compromising on your prospects of passing. And many law firms would insist you do a full comprehensive course anyway. So, well, what message are you going to be giving a firm if you've cut corners with that? They'll think, well, if you cut corners with your legal education, are you going to cut corners in the office with us? So please do a full comprehensive course. Now, some students quote to me the example of Mike in Suits. Remember the Netflix series? Mike just passed the New York bar by reading a few manuals and hey presto, I'm a lawyer. Well, that's fiction, as is the idea that you can just rock up to an SQE prep course and pass the SQE exams. It isn't going to happen. You'll be throwing your money away.
SQETV.
So let's talk about the range of courses that are available to you to study the law conversion. Now, first of all, there's the cheapest, quickest version of a law conversion course, which is an app-based course that you don't do with any contact with tutors at all. Now, I would say simply don't touch those with a barge pole. They will promise you that you can do it in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, even 3 months. Don't touch them with a barge pole. They will not give you the level and depth that you need to be at to be competitive with your LLB peers. So treat them with a lot of cynicism. The price may be attractive, the timing may be attractive. Don't be hoodwinked in thinking you're getting yourself on a level playing field with your peers. You simply will not be. So let's move on to the next option, which is a little bit like it, which are app-based but have some touch points with tutors. That obviously has the benefit of having the ability to check in with tutors and check your understanding. But again, these promise you quite cheap courses, quite quick timelines to get through, but you're not going to have that constant validation that you would have with a course that's taught in live teaching pretty much all the way through. And the problem with that is that law is so complex that you do need to be checking your understanding with your tutors, comparing your understanding with your peers in a live classroom situation to really be solid and reassured and confident that you're at the level where you need to be. And if you do those app-based courses with occasional touch points, you're going to feel a little underserved by that validation process that you need for something that's so complex. So I would prefer you to be focusing on those courses that give you that live interaction, whether it's on live classroom teaching all the way through, whether it's online or done face-to-face. Going first of all with the diploma version, where you just do a conversion course on its own, that has the benefits of live teaching throughout, whether it's face-to-face or online, you get the choice. But it also means you go into depth in much more time than those other options we mentioned earlier. The final option I've got for you is the master's version, which doesn't just cover the law conversion itself, but will cover the first step of the SQE. So there are law conversion masters out there with SQE1 preparation built in, and the advantage of that is that it includes the whole of the diplomas that we've just talked about, so a real in-depth law conversion, but it also will include your SQE1 preparation. And the double advantage of that is, first of all, you can get funding if you're a domestic student from Student Finance England. You can get funding of over £12,000 to do that master's, so the whole of your conversion, the whole of your SQE1 preparation, and £12,000 funding you can unlock. But also, and the added advantage is, what you will do is to be getting a cheaper price for your journey than if you segment it and do the conversion course first and then SQE1 later on.
SQETV.
And finally, the subject of timing. When should I do my law conversion course is a question I get asked all the time, particularly from students who've just completed their undergraduate degrees in maths, English, history, or whatever non-law degree it is. And what they're asking me about is, oh, can I take a gap year? And I say to them, take 2 if you want, take 3. Ultimately, what matters in the recruitment process is that you bring your personality, your skill set, and your experience, and you say, this is who and what I am and what my background is. And taking a gap year or 2 or more, or even having a career change, means that you've got a whole host of transferable skills that you would not otherwise have if you go straight into the law conversion course and straight into a law firm to do your qualifying work experience. So it's not a race. And it's for you to really determine your own journey. And I just say, own your journey. Don't compare yourselves to those who go straight into graduate roles. good for them. They might get the mortgage earlier than you, but actually you'll have those experiences if you take a gap year beforehand. And have confidence if you're a career changer as well, because ultimately you've got that set of transferable skills that recent university leavers simply do not have. So from a timing perspective, I think be as fluid as you wish to be. Ultimately, it's down to you to suit your own personal circumstances, and don't compare yourself with other candidates.
SQETV.
That was Law Conversion and the SQE. I hope you enjoyed it. We've got lots of videos to come, including one on imposter syndrome, which will be of particular interest for candidates from a non-law background, because I know it's something that many of you do struggle with from time to time. If I'm honest, it's the same with law graduates as well. It's quite a common trait within the legal industry. It just remains for me to say thank you so much for watching once again. Please do like and subscribe to our channel. Remember, all of our videos drop at 3 o'clock every Wednesday afternoon. And the final thing for me to say before I go is, as we always do with our videos, it's now time for the jingle.
If you wanna be solicitors, why don't you